even though summer break just started, it's never too early to begin planning for fall sports. So what should parents be thinking about now to be sure their kids are ready to play this fall? Well, joining me to answer that question is Phillip Adler. He is the manager for Spectrum Health Medical Group's sports medicine program. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so it's all about just preparation and getting the kids ready. I mean, they're playing almost year-round now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, one of the most important things we think of in terms of injury prevention now isn't actually doing any exercise, it's rest, active rest. At this time of year, we often see kids engaged in so many activities. I think it's important that parents remember to take a time out. Maybe to give some active rest. And you know, I talk to my athletic trainers who are out in the field working in the high schools. They've got some kids who are in the morning doing football, lifting, and then they've got basketball in the afternoon, and they've got pitching and throwing at night for baseball. Wow. Sometimes we just need to take a time out in terms of injury prevention. Is
that hard to get across sometimes to people, that rest doesn't necessarily put you behind, but it can really be you know, a benefit?
Yeah, it's sometimes the hardest thing that our sports docs, that's the hardest conversation they have to have with parents in the office. And so sometimes to avoid that office visit, some of the best injury prevention mechanisms are rest and to take some time. Okay. But there's certainly a lot of things we can be doing right now as we prepare for fall sports, and there's several things depending on your sport. I worked with 3 outstanding strength coaches when I was the head athletic trainer at Central Michigan. They had a tailored program for each sport, each person. The most important thing is that you're getting prepared now for fall and you're not waiting until August.
Okay. And you know, sir, what types of like exercises or what should they be really doing or focusing on? Yeah,
you know, it really depends on the sport. You take a sport like football, for instance, and right now we should be really building strength. We're building strength, we're building endurance. We're trying to get ready for the rigors of those 2-a-day programs so that we can avoid injury in the fall and we're not behind the 8 ball. You know, some other folks, whether it's, you know, it's not too early to think about basketball, where you might be doing some jump training. Our athletic trainers in the field are working with our high school athletes, doing some injury prevention program based on the sport metrics. The evidence-based jump training program for women to help avoid those female ACL injuries in particular.
Yes.
So whether it's a rotator cuff strengthening program for your baseball players, an ankle strengthening program for your volleyball players to prevent the ankle sprains, there is something that everybody can be doing.
Okay, and you guys have seminars, classes or so that it can be extremely helpful in doing this as well.
Yeah, in August we actually have 3 sets of seminars coming up. August 3rd we actually have Dr. Axman, non-operative sports medicine physician, and Dr. Lawrence, a neuropsychologist, talking about sports concussions. Okay. And so while I mentioned that, now is a great time to be getting your baseline concussion tested. So you're actively resting, as we talked about already, but you can start to set some of those baselines, and in the event of a concussion, we can compare your baseline scores to the post-concussion scores, and then use that as a tool to help you return to play. Okay,
and these are free courses?
These are free seminars, and there'll be some advertisement coming out, so watch the paper, watch your Facebook and Twitter accounts. Yeah. Also, we have Dr. Delia, who's going to talk about sports hip. Awesome doctor who's dual fellowship trained in both sports and hip, so he's got some really interesting information regarding the sports hip injuries we often see in like soccer and hockey. Yes. And then our non-operative sports medicine doctors, Dr. Tripkowski, Dr. Lazar, will be presenting on youth injury prevention. So kind of what we're talking about now. What do we do as we get closer to the fall and into the winter sports? How can we be preventing injury for those youth athletes?
And you know, any age ranges or so that this would be beneficial for? It seems like, you know, kids younger and younger are starting.
Sure. You know, I think anybody that has an interest in those topics, I think it's pertinent information. It's going to cover everything from youth, you know, the pee-wee football, and all the way through, you know, collegiate and even some of the amateur and weekend warrior stuff. I think there's a takeaway for everybody. Yeah. So I would hate to put an age limit on it, because I think there's something for everybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. A lot of great information. Like you said, it's never too early to start with that information and education as well.
Yeah, so. We appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.